Welcome, everybody, to the Monday night call. And it's my guess that if you're on this call, manifesting more abundance into your life and the law of attraction, it interests you somewhat. So if it interests you, that would also mean that it will interest someone else. So if you're actually taking 5 seconds at the start of this call to think of that one person that you know loves to talk about the law of attraction, that should be on this call. Maybe you write it down, write their name down, and realize that you got their back, because we record this and it goes on to the YouTube channel and you can share this out. Now, for those of you in our Juice Plus family, think about these Monday night calls as like an opportunity call without talking about the products or the business. This is something that can show people the level of world-class training that so many people spend thousands of dollars and weekends of their life to go to someone's seminar and learn this stuff. And we're giving this world-class stuff away for free to the team. So what an amazing gift to add to the amazing community that we're building here. So by show of hands, who knows who Beck McCallum is? Amazing. So even the people that aren't showing their faces have got their hands up. I could see that. So while I'm introducing this amazing speaker, go down into the chat and drop Beck a few words about what she means to you. What are some words that describe Beck to you? So let's see if we can get the mascara running a little bit tonight. Let's see if we can get the tears coming, because we love Beck. So show up. So Beck is, to me, an amazing human being. And to be honest, this call exists because of Beck. There's about a year ago, I don't know, a little bit longer, this call started as a little coaching group that was invite only. And we would meet every Monday night or Tuesday night, and there would be coaching. And it did all right for a while, and then eventually, all good things come to an end, and we moved the call to our independent hustle training group, which this call still gets broadcast into. It's a group of entrepreneurs, like-minded people, no sales, just education, people that have already invested in themselves and they just want to come where there's positivity, right? So after a while, it grew, and Beck started to get the idea that it was good enough to put into a larger network. And some of you might know what that larger network is. It was TNT. So I was happy to fly under the radar, but Beck lovingly got me outside of my comfort zone and, said, hey, this is good enough to go in there. Let's put it in there. And I was like, next week, until she did what all good friends and comfort zone destroyers do, and she just posted it in there and left and told me about it after, which was shocking and also one of the best things that could have ever happened, because one thing led to another. More leaders started jumping on. I still remember the night that Linda jumped on and I nearly died, but it was all good, because Mesh was born from calls like this, and it really just comes from Beck pushing people outside their comfort zone. And that's Beck for you, lovingly pushing people outside of their comfort zone and into their greatness. So Beck, we're just so grateful to have you on the call tonight, and I'm not going to talk anymore. Just take it away.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I'd actually completely forgotten about that, and for all of those beautiful comments as well. I think that's what makes this community so beautiful, is that there is so many of us who just support each other no matter what, and some beautiful friendships have grown out of this. And even when Joel asked me to speak today, I said, when you present, I'm like, you mean you want me to interview someone? He said, no, I'm interviewing you. I was like, oh, okay, I better go and write some notes. So I'm really excited to share with you all about the law of attraction, manifesting, whatever you want to call it, because it's something that I think is such a powerful technique when used right. And for many, many years, I used the law of attraction without even realizing that I had been doing it. So I actually manifested myself an Australian husband, and it all started when I was living with some girls in London when I was 18. And we went traveling together, and they were moving back, and I said, I can't stay in England on my own. I've got to move back with you. We were thinking of all different ways that I could move back. Could I get a job? We were looking at friends of theirs that I could marry. And then one day I walk into a pub and meet my husband, and the rest is history. So the universe never delivers in the way we expect. But, you know, I was putting out there that I wanted this Aussie husband and to move to Australia, and I got one. But I never realized until a lot later on that it was the law of attraction that I'd been using. And as soon as I realized there was this tool called the law of attraction, I started to overthink it all, and it all went the other way. I started manifesting, you know, problems into my life because I started to really overthink the process. Every thought that came into my mind, I was worried about whether it was the right thought or the wrong thought. And of course, when you're constantly thinking like that, you're just lowering your vibration. So just so you know a little bit about me, just so you don't think, because I think sometimes we can look at people and go, but she was one of the lucky ones. Or it's okay for her because ... or it's okay for him because ... You see things on Facebook and you think these people are all leading the most magnificent lives. But let me tell you, I have been almost bankrupt at least twice. I have been hugely overweight. We nearly had a divorce some years ago based on an affair. So I'm going to be just really vulnerable with you here and tell you everything about my life. I lived in Australia with no family support, just my husband and I. We were completely broke. We were like, our marriage was broken, just life was broken. So I have been probably where all of you have been, depending on what's going on in your life, because I've probably experienced so much of it. But I'm here to tell you that things don't always have to be like that. Things can change. And even right now, I'm sitting here in a caravan park in England. Is my bank account exploding with money? No, it's not. I would love to tell you differently, but it's not. The thing is, though, that I think that the law of attraction has allowed me to do is to step into myself and to just believe and trust that everything is going to be okay. And you know what? When you have that belief and that trust and that faith, more often than not, everything absolutely is okay. And when you start to get to that point where you have that belief, then what happens is you start taking the opportunities instead of waiting for that perfect moment. Because, you know, we only lead one life. And if we sit here and wait for the perfect moment, it's never going to happen. And then we're always going to die wondering. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is just share with you to start with, I suppose, exactly what the law of attraction is. And then after that, I'm going to give you the strategies and tools that I have used to get through things when life feels like it's completely on top of you and that you're almost bankrupt. Like, how do you get through that feeling good? Okay, so everything I'm sharing with you today, it's not new. It's not my own stuff. It's not stuff that I've just come up with. A lot of these tools and techniques are ancient wisdom. It's just that so many of us don't apply it on a consistent basis, because everything I'm going to share with you today as well is not, it's not difficult. It's not challenging. It's just that, again, it needs to be applied on a consistent basis. So first of all, I'm going to talk about setting an intention, but also to let you know that this isn't woo-woo. This isn't some like, well, it can be very spiritual, but it isn't just some like woo-woo stuff. You know, I don't sit around holding crystals, and nothing against people who do. It's just not something that I do. So there is actually the quantum physics behind this. There is scientific evidence that backs this, all of this stuff, all of these theories is scientifically backed. And if you really want to delve a lot deeper into that, go and read the book, Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It is the most incredible book, and it will be a complete game changer for anybody who goes and reads it. And it's also on Audible as well. So the first thing that we need to do is to really set a clear intention. And I think that so many of us, you know, we have an idea of what we want to do. Maybe we start posting out on Facebook, but do you actually know what it is that you intend to get from those posts that you put out on Facebook? Or is it just that you've been told you need to post 3 times a day? And so without that clear intention, everything we do, it's just going out there and we're not really sure why or what we want to get from it. So setting that clear intention. Now, the universe often delivers things in ways that we do not expect. As Joe Dispenza calls them, they're quantum surprises. And so when you set the intention, make sure it's very clear and specific. You know, if people from Juice Plus are listening, you know, if it's a team member you want, do you just want a team member, or do you want a team member that's fast tracking to SDVF? There's a big difference, right? You know, do you want a customer, or do you want a customer that wants to be buying everything? You know, do you want that customer who's becomes a raving fan? You know, if there's people, coaches or whatever, do you want a client, or do you want a paying client? Because again, there's a big difference. So if you just put out there, I want 5 clients, you could well get 5 people message you that don't want to pay. That's not exactly what you wanted. So set that really clear intention. Again, for people looking for relationships, you don't just want a boyfriend or a girlfriend, right? You want someone that has specific qualities. So go and work out exactly what qualities that you want in a partner. Go and figure out exactly who they are. Because when you know who you're looking for and you know exactly what you want in life, then it's going to be so much easier to go and get it, right? It sounds simple. It's just, I think that sometimes we don't take the time to really think about what it is that we want. Okay. So be really clear on setting that intention. I think that that is probably one of the most important things. Now, when you have set that intention, we need to ask. Now, I think a lot of us, because of our old programming, we were often told as children, if you went round to someone's house, you shouldn't ask for something. It's rude to ask. You know, so as adults, sometimes it can be actually really difficult to actually ask for what we want. But if we don't ask, we're not going to be able to get it. So we actually need to put it out to the universe, to God, to source, whatever you want to call it. I call it the universe, but, you know, whatever works for you. So actually ask. Once you've set your intentions, say, this is what I want. I want to lead. I want to be able to live a life as a millionaire. I want my private jet. I want my house in the Gold Coast. Whatever it is that you want in life, you've got to ask for it. I want my NMD business. Ask for it. And then be really open to receiving. Again, this is something that so many of us don't do. We don't know how to receive. How many of you out there have been out for dinner with a friend before? And maybe you don't have too much money, and the friend said to you, I'd love to shout you dinner. I've got this bill. And there's something inside of us that thinks, oh, I can't receive that. Oh, that just feels really uncomfortable. So all of a sudden you go, no, I've got it. I'll pay for it. And then you go and pay for this meal and you think, why did I just do that? I just spent money I didn't have buying my friend dinner, which she was offering me to buy me. You know, that could have been the universe, if you'd asked for some money, saying to you, I'm giving you a meal for free. Yet you've just gone and said, I can't receive it. I can't accept it. So be really, really open to how you receive things, because the universe often shows up in ways that we least expect it. And if you're constantly saying no, because you're not able to receive it, or if you maybe get somebody come to you who maybe wants your product or who wants your service, who wants to join your team, but you don't actually say to them, are you ready to join now? Or however you want to say it, that person might just feel like you weren't ready to receive and you've lost them. But that was actually the universe giving you your quantum surprise. Okay, so be really, really open to receiving, because that is going to be how you get everything that you want in life. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is feelings. So when we talk about the law of attraction and The Secret and all of that stuff, you know, they say, ask for it and you shall receive it. But there's a few steps that you really need to do in between, probably the most important steps. So the first one is you actually need to do the action. So there's no point in just saying, I want this, can I have it? And then sitting there watching Netflix, hoping that the universe is going to deliver it. You actually need to go and take the inspired action, okay? Now, I call it inspired action because I think it needs to feel good. It needs to feel expansive. It needs to feel fun, rather than feeling like, oh my God, do I have to go and do that today? But by taking the inspired action, you're opening up channels for the universe to deliver to you. Okay, so if it's, if you love meeting people face to face, go out and do more of that. If you love talking to people online, go out and do more of that. Just do more of what you love, but start taking that inspired action, because it's only when you put the action in place that the universe can deliver. And I think that that's sometimes the step that we miss out. We sort of sit there thinking, well, I've put out my intention and nothing's happening. But again, you don't ever know where it's going to come from. I'll give you a really cool example. When just before we were due to move over here, we knew that we needed a car in the UK. So Kane and I had been talking. We're like, right, are we going to buy a car? Are we going to transport our car over? We were looking on the internet for cars, all of those sorts of things. And then I get a call from my dad one day, and he says, oh, Beck, your granddad's decided he's 93 years old and it's probably best he doesn't drive anymore. So he said you can have his car. And you know what? It's a 20-year-old car, but it gets us from A to B. And it's the best thing ever, because it was like, we manifested this. And so if you'd asked me, would I have expected that my granddad was going to turn around and say he can't drive ever again? I probably would have said yes. It was probably well overdue. But no, I would never have expected that that was how I was going to get a car. And so you really need to be so open. And whenever these things happen, you just kind of have this little giggle to yourself and go, haha, yeah, I get it now. Thanks, universe. And the more of these things that show up for you, the more that you start to believe and trust. So I might actually just go back with the intention. It really also needs to be something that you believe can be possible. Because if you're sitting there right now and you're thinking that bringing 10 new team or 10 new customers or getting 10 new clients is completely out of your realm of possibility, you don't believe in the slightest that you could do it, then don't set that as an intention, because you won't take the inspired action. You won't feel good about it. So you won't receive it. And then you'll just sit there and go, the law of attraction doesn't work. It was all a load of BS. So if this is something that you're really new to, then please just start with something small. Start with something that you know that it could happen, but that you know that you're not sure how it would happen, but you believe it definitely could happen. Wait for the magic to happen. And then the next time you do it, build on that. And then the next time you do it, build on that. Because that moves me into my next area, which is feelings. Feelings. I know Joel loves feelings. He loves talking about feelings. So I saved this part especially for you. It's going to be a long one. No, I'm joking. Feelings is really important, because you know what? The universe matches your vibration. So if you are vibrating at a really low vibration, which is where we sit in all of those feelings of comparison, jealousy, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, if we sit in those places, then what happens is we vibrate at that level. And that's when we start attracting things into our life that we really don't want. Debt, being overweight, that sort of thing, because we're vibrating at that really low level. So we need to get into that feeling of vibrating on a really, really high level. So that's where we come into things like gratitude, love, excitedness, all of those sorts of things. So you can see that if your intention, you don't believe that you're going to achieve it, you're going to be sitting in the low vibration, because you're going to be sitting in feeling scared, fear, scarcity, comparison. Whereas if you believe you can achieve it, then that's when you're going to be sitting in that space of feeling excited, okay? So feelings are really important. And the thing is, most of us, we spend our time living in feelings of the past, okay? We spend so much of our time living in the past. I'll give you an example. How many times have you maybe had a falling out with somebody, maybe at work, maybe a partner, and you're in the car and you might be driving home and you've asked your partner, for example, can you please get dinner ready? Now, the last 3 times you asked your partner to get dinner ready, they hadn't done it. So you're in the car on the way home and you're thinking, I'm really hungry. He better have put dinner on. Oh, he didn't put dinner on last time. He never puts dinner on. He never does what I ask. He never does the washing up. He never does any of this. He never does all the things. And all of a sudden, you're making up these stories in your head. and you're starting to get more frustrated. You can actually feel the feelings inside of you bubbling up of anger, frustration, all of these things that haven't even yet happened. So you finally walk in the door and your husband's there or your partner's there, and they're like, hey honey, how was your day? But you're so angry by now about something that hasn't even yet happened that you just say, yeah, I'm fine, go to the room, go and have a shower. You haven't even found out if he's made dinner or not. You then find out he has made dinner, but you're so angry about a story that you made up, and you can't figure out why you're angry anymore. And he's made dinner, and you don't accept it with gratitude because you're so angry and annoyed, but you can't figure out why, and neither can he. And he never does dinner again because he didn't get the response that he wanted. And this is because we are living in the past. We are living so much based on fear and things that have happened to us in the past. A lot of our money stories come from the past. A lot of our relationship stories come from the past. Judgment comes from the past. We need to be living in the present, not the past. And that's why so many of us, when we start doing the law of attraction, we start wanting to manifest things, we start to get all of these old feelings come up for us. You know, if you're sat there now thinking, oh, I'm going to manifest $10,000, and then all of a sudden your doubt comes in because you couldn't do it in the past. All of a sudden your fear comes in because in the past you were broke. All of a sudden your mum's beliefs come in, all of those other things start, and you start feeling horrible, and you start getting self-doubt, and you start thinking, I can't do this. So we need to start living in the present, and feelings are so, so important because that is how you match your vibration, okay? So if you feel yourself going back to that place, then you need to change it. You need to change your state. And I'm going to go into that a little bit more later of exactly what I have done in the past when I have been in those states. Because like I said, we live so much in the past that we're not thinking about right here and right now. We're not thinking about who we can be in this moment. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, well, how do I clear that? And it actually just takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of effort, but it can be totally done, you know, because when we live in the past, we're not serving ourselves. And awareness is probably the biggest step to actually dealing with it. When you start to notice these feelings coming up, you can be like, yes, I noticed that. The thing is, we become so addicted to these negative feelings. We actually have become addicted to them. We've created all of these neural pathways in our brain and it's become addictive. These negative conditionings have become addictive. So what we need to do is to become aware of them. So I'm going to give you the tools that I use and that have helped me. The first one, and like I said, none of these tools are unique. They're not different. It just takes practice. So tool number one is to be kind to yourself. You can't listen to this call, get off, and then think that you're necessarily going to go and be a master manifester within the first week. And if it doesn't work, then you're rubbish and everyone else could do it. That's not true. It takes time. It takes practice. So be kind to yourself. You know, if you feel these negative conditions coming up, celebrate it, because now you realize that there's something there that you need to work on. Okay. But this takes time. It takes consistency. So awareness is the first step to moving through anything. So if you feel like, let's say somebody does something, or you see a post on Facebook and you start to feel a bit annoyed or a bit jealous, recognize it for what it is. Okay, why am I feeling jealous? What is it that I don't feel that I have that this person has? And then you can think, right, okay, maybe they're fitter than me. Okay, well then maybe that's what I need to work on, my fitness, because obviously that's something that I feel I need to change within myself. So awareness is really important. And a technique that I teach all of my clients is the switch. It's such a simple technique. When done properly, it works like a dream. So like I said before, we spend a lot of our time living in the past, and we tend to look for the negatives before the positives. So anytime that a negative thought comes into your mind, you just say the word switch. You then say the opposite. So if you're saying like, oh, I'm so rubbish and useless, in your mind just say switch. I'm amazing and I can achieve anything, then go and write it down. And before you go to bed, read back what you have written, okay? Because what we start to do is you start to actually change your mindset and you train yourself, because you're actually creating new neural pathways in your brain. So you actually start to train yourself to go from you start to look instantly for the positives. So then when something does come up in your life, you go, oh, I know there's a new solution because I'm looking for the positives instead of the negatives. And I just have the word switch written on my wardrobe in my room so that it reminds me that I need to switch. It's such a simple technique, but any one of my clients who has ever done it either has great awareness that they spend a lot of their life speaking negatively to themselves, or they start to really start seeing the positive side of life again. So that's one of the techniques. The other one is gratitude. Now, again, I'm sure you've all heard of gratitude. This, again, is definitely not a new concept. And I remember when I first heard the word gratitude, it actually brought really negative connotations up for me, because my mum and dad spent my whole childhood telling me I needed to be more grateful. So, you know, I'd ask for something and they'd be like, you need to be more grateful. It's like, oh, gratitude, seriously, again. But when I started to really understand gratitude and the power of gratitude, it really isn't a negative thing that my mum and dad just keep shouting at me. It's actually something that is real. It's one of the highest vibrations. And be positive for the things that you haven't even got in your life yet. Be positive for your new customers. Be positive and grateful for your new team member that you're bringing into your world. Be really grateful for that $10,000 a month that you're now earning. Start being really grateful for the things that we haven't even got. And when you start to be more grateful for the things that we haven't even got, you're going to start getting it. The other thing is with gratitude, if you're sitting ever in a place of fear or procrastination, or if your partner is doing your head in, or a friend of yours you're having a little bit of a challenge with and you're not sure why, take some time and go and write out 20, 30 things that you're grateful for about that person or about that situation. Because you can't actually live in fear and gratitude at the same time. Okay, so when you go out there and start being really, really grateful, and you start seeing things that you're grateful for in your partner or in your business or in your job or in your friendships, more of those things are going to come into your life. But if you look for the negatives in somebody or the negatives in the business, you're going to start attracting more of that. You're going to start seeing more of that. So gratitude is a really quick way to get into a high vibration, and it's a really quick way to start changing the way you see about a situation. Okay. So meditation is another really fabulous way to just clear your mind. And if you're new to meditation, then I know that a few months ago there was an amazing call done with Erin Ashley, which I'm sure that you can find somewhere in the Independent Hustle training or in some of the calls. And she talks about meditation for a really long time. So go and find that. Otherwise, just jump onto YouTube. You can always find some incredible guided meditations. Some of the Esther Hicks ones are really good. And just spend 3 or 4 minutes in the morning. There's also the heart math, the brain-heart coercion meditation, because they actually have now discovered that our heart has memories as well as our minds. So what this does is, this meditation, it's about 5 minutes long, and it helps you get from your head to your heart. It's a great thing to do just before you're going to start doing some social media, or you're about to call a client or something like that as well, because it helps you get from that place to that place. Okay, it's just heart math. Go and it's on YouTube. It's like about 3 or 5 minutes long. It's really simple to do. So meditation will help center you. It will help keep you grounded, and it will help clear your mind of any of those things that are going on, any of those other worries and concerns. The other thing that I did was, honestly, I just sat there one day and I thought, I'm in a space right now where I don't have enough money to pay the rent. I don't have enough money to feed our children next week. Heart math. I'll find it for you and I'll put it up in the group. I don't have enough money to feed my children if I don't get a client, but at the moment we haven't got clients. I don't know what to do. How am I supposed to go out there and manifest all of this stuff when I'm not even feeling in a good place? All I want to do is sit on my bed and cry and cry and cry. So that's what I did. I sat on my bed and I cried and I cried and I cried. And actually, sometimes that's a really good way to release it. Just cry. And then I just sat there, and my beautiful coach, Janine Howard, said to me, what if, Beck, what if just for 1 week you decided that you were just going to do all of these things, use all of the tools that you have, and just see what would happen? What if you just did it? And I sat there and I thought, well, what's the worst that can happen? It's either going to get to the end of the week and I'm going to have had a good week, but I'm still going to have no money and I still won't be able to pay my rent and I still won't be able to feed my children. Or I'm going to have an amazing week and things will completely change for me. Either way, I'm going to have a good week. So I just decided I'm just going to do it. For a week, I'm going to focus on manifesting. And Kane and I decided that we were going to manifest $5,000 we were going to manifest $5,000. And we did it. But we weren't clear enough. We got $5,000 worth of clients. It's just we didn't quite get the $5,000 worth of money in our account because a lot of them were on payment plans. But that's fine. We still have money to pay rent and feed the children. And it was in that moment that I realized, what if you just did it? What if you just decided that you were going to play full out? You were going to go and do some awesome manifesting. You were going to set a clear intention. You were going to be super grateful. You were going to ask. You were going to learn how to receive. And then you were going to completely surrender to the process and just see what happens. What if you just did it for a week? What if? Because I can tell you now, it completely changed my life. Because now, don't get me wrong, I still have moments where I just want to fall to the ground and burst into tears. In fact, I did do that beginning Friday. I had a moment and I just burst into tears and I asked myself, why am I doing this? I can't do this. And then I realized that it was a disempowering question and I needed to ask myself, how can I move through this? What is it that I need to do? And I went for a run and I came up with the idea that I was going to manifest myself a marathon finish in 3 weeks. I'm not sure if that was the best idea or not, but I got out of my head and back into my heart. I decided that I can do this and I started to feel good again. So that is moves. So I just decided, well, what if? And so don't get me wrong, I still have those moments where I go, but when I get into that moment, I know how to get out of it a lot quicker. Okay, so that actually brings me into exercise. It seems so simple again, guys, but just do those things. Eat well and exercise. If you're feeding your body rubbish, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to feed your mind rubbish. You feed your mind rubbish, you're going to have rubbish thoughts. You're going to have a low vibration. You eat well, you exercise, you feel good. Guess what? You feel good, you have a high vibration. It's really simple. It's just, again, sometimes when we're stuck in that place of not knowing how to move forward, going for a run or going for a walk just seems like the hardest thing. But being in that situation is so much more difficult than just making a choice and deciding that you're going to try something different. You're going to do something different. And just ask yourself, what if? What if I pulled myself away from Netflix just for 1 day, went for a run, went for a walk, did some exercise, ate some healthy food, set a clear intention? Things will change. Okay, so if you're in that space and you're feeling like you just don't believe it, just think to yourself, well, you know what, throw caution to the wind, I'm just going to do it. And then hypnosis, self-hypnosis, YouTube again, go find a hypno that you love. Otherwise, I have a whole catalog of them. I'm a hypnotherapist. Reach out. I've probably got one that I can send you. In fact, I did record after last conference a hypnosis all around getting to NMD. And I sent it out to probably about 80 people. Now, I wonder how many of those 80 people even bothered to listen to it. And that's not a dig, guys, because I have been there myself where I'd be like, yeah, pick me. And then I don't do anything. it's really simple. A hypnosis you just listen to at night. So you don't even really need to do anything. You just listen to it. You put your headphones in and just lie there and relax and feel really good for a half an hour. So if you haven't got that hypno and you want it, send me a message with your email and I can send it to you. If you've already got that hypnosis, listen to it. Okay. So the other really amazing tool that I recently got taught was how to just shift your energy to that place of feeling really good and that place of gratitude. So what you need to do, and this actually came to me, this tip was given to me through one of my coaches, Linda, and she is a hugely successful person, hugely into the law of attraction and manifesting. So what you do is you get a piece of paper and you halve it. On the left hand side you write on the left hand side, I would like you to write what it is that you want, what it is you want out of life. And then on the right hand side, I want you to write out what it's going to give you. What feelings are you going to get from receiving these things? So let's say you want $10,000. $10,000 doesn't really mean anything. $10,000 is just $10,000. What is the feeling having that $10,000 is going to give you? What is that feeling? Because remember, it's all about feelings. What is that feeling that being an NMD is going to give to you? Because it's all about feelings. What is that feeling that you're going to get from being your ideal dress size? What is that feeling you're going to get? And then what you do is you read it just before you go and put up a post. You read it just before you get onto the phone to a client. You read it just before you do anything that is in regards to what it is you want, because what you do is you shift your energy. You shift into that space of heart space, okay? You shift into that space because you get excited again and you feel happy again and you feel lifted again. And when you then get into that space and you put out on social media that you're doing something fun, who wants to be part of it, they can feel the energy. They can feel the energy shift from being desperation to being inspiration. And also that is a great tool to use as well. If you're thinking and you're sitting there and you're thinking, I've got to message someone on my chicken list and I'm not sure how to do it, or I don't think I can. I'm just going to make another cup of coffee. Read that list. Read what it is you want out of life. Read about the feelings you're going to get, because I can guarantee you that's going to mean more to you than the fear. So just do it and you'll feel amazing, and it's going to propel your business forward. And then the other tool that I wanted to share with you is the 55 by 5. And I know that the people who have been doing this in my group, who have been using this, have been getting some fabulous results. Again, guys, this is not my secret. This is not me who invented this. This is an ancient tool. But every time I have ever used it, the results have been staggering. And like I just said, I know that Dave and Marie have had some phenomenal results from using this, and Emma, I'm not sure if she's on the call, but she's been doing this as well. So are you ready? Drum roll. No. What I need you to do is I need you to get one sentence, just one sentence of something that you want. Please just make it one sentence, because A, you only need one sentence, and B, you don't want to be sat there writing forever and ever and ever. So just get one sentence about something that you want. And then write it in present as if it's already happening. So I am so grateful that I am an NMD, or I am so grateful that I am a world-class coach. Whatever it is, I am so grateful, and then your sentence. And then what I want you to do is to write that sentence 55 times, 5 days a week, for 5 days. Now, the reason it's 55 by 5 is because 5 is actually a power number, and it's actually like our own personal power. So that's why the number 5 is so relevant to this, okay? And what it does is it stops all of the distraction, because you're sitting there and you're writing and you're writing and you're writing and you're writing 55 times, 55 times, 55 times what it is you want. And our subconscious mind likes instructions. So when we give it the instruction to go and become an NMD, it's going to accept that instruction. I need to go and become an NMD. And then what happens is we'll switch on our reticular activating system, which means that we're going to be suddenly more aware and more open, and we're going to be able to see possibilities that we hadn't ever been able to see before. The other thing is we're also changing up those neural pathways in our brain again, okay? So we're switching them up again, because now we're feeding our mind, we're going to be this, we're going to be a world-class coach, I'm a world-class coach, I am a world-class coach, I am a world-class coach, I'm a world-class coach. We've turned off all other noise, and that is what we're telling ourselves. So that is what we're telling the universe, because that is the feeling that we're getting, which is raising our vibration. Now, the other thing with this is, when you go and do it, you feel so bloody proud of yourself because you've actually done it, that you start to raise your vibration even higher again, because you're like, my hand hurts. I so could have been out drinking with my girlfriends tonight, but instead I was drinking a cup of tea, writing down 55 times that I am a world-class coach. And you start to get those feelings of like, oh my gosh, things are going to start happening for me. And all I can say to you is, go and do it. Go and give it a go for 5 days. What have you got to lose? Because honestly, whenever I have done this, the craziest things start to happen, like crazy. I'll give you an example. So last month I did it because I wanted to qualify my Juice Plus business, and I was sat at about 300 points and I needed 1,800. About 5 days before the end of the month, I decided, oh my goodness, I probably should have done this at the beginning of the month, but I'm going to do it now. I had old customers, 3 old customers, rebuy Juice Plus from me, like from years ago. I got a new team member. I had someone buy upfront chewables and upfront Amigas. I mean, seriously, like, I can't make this stuff up, right? This isn't just, it's never happened to me in any other month, yet the month that I do my 55 by 5, raise my vibration and just decide it's happening, this stuff happens. So you can see the magic. It just happens. And I know Dave's had some amazing stuff happen, and Marie, and I know Emma has as well. So just, what have you got to lose? It's 5 days of your life. The only thing is, if you miss a day, you have to start again. So don't get to day 3 and then miss it, because otherwise you've got to start all over again. So just go and do it, because really, what have you got to lose? And so manifesting really is very simple. It's a very simple process, and it's really about the feelings. It's getting on that vibration. It's feeling really, really good. Dancing, music, that kind of thing always makes me feel good. Having a media detox, get off the news, get off anything that makes you feel bad, anything that makes you feel negative, get off it and just get into that high vibe, because it's that vibration that is going to bring magic into your life, literally miracles. So good books to read, anything by Esther Hicks and Joe Dispenza all the way. Joe Dispenza is just, if I ever meet that man, I will probably give him a big hug. But he's just incredible. Yes, thank you, Joel. It's a game changer. And I know Joel has read that book as well. And I think, just remember, though, the universe never delivers in the way we expect. And I will end on this one final example. I remember Joel, after he read the book, Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, he said to me, I asked for a quantum sign, and the next minute I saw this snake. Okay, so I've gone and done my meditation, and I was like, Joel got a snake. Universe, I want a snake. I don't know why, I don't even particularly like snakes, but like, I want a snake. And of course, the universe never delivers things in the way you expect. So I'm thinking, when's this snake going to show up? I open up Facebook, and then my friend has just posted a photo of a snake that she found in her garden. So, you know, I'm expecting to see this snake suddenly slither out in front of me, but instead the snake turns up as the very first photo that I open up on Facebook. So the universe gave me exactly what I asked for, just in a way that I didn't expect. So I hope some of that has been helpful. I could probably talk longer about this, but I don't even know what the time is, because I can't see, and I don't want to touch anything in case I lose everything.
It's amazing timing. So yeah, we've still, like, it's 8:18 at the moment, so you're right on. So guys, does anyone have any questions for Beck? Like, This has been an amazing call. I'm seeing anyone got their hand up for Beck? Okay, Alison.
Yeah, hi Beck, thanks for that. Can you run through that 5 and 55 again for me, please?
Yes, of course. So you find a sentence of something that you want to manifest into your life. So just one sentence, because you don't want to be writing paragraphs 55 times. And you write it as if it's already happened. So if it was money, I would be saying something like, I am so grateful that I have just received another $10,000 or something like that. You write it 55 times in a row, 5 days a week. And it has to be done. You can't sort of go, I'm going to write 20 times now, and then I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and come back. It has to be all in one hit, and you do it 5 times. If you miss a day, you start again. But the idea is that we're reprogramming our neural pathways. What we're also doing is, it's like hypnotic writing. You kind of almost get into that space where you don't even realize that you're writing it, you're just doing it. So that's when it starts to become really unconscious. And it's our subconscious mind that, we're wanting to program, say, giving this idea to. So that's why we just sort of write it as 55 times, because it really starts to lock in then that this is what we're doing. We are about to just go and become an NMD. Your subconscious mind has just accepted it. That's what's happening. And then it will start to look for new things and new ways. You can't do it with multiple. You can do multiple things, but you do one thing at a time. So if you're wanting to go for, like, say, 10 coaching clients, that's what you do first. Then if you want to do 10 team members, you have to do that on another 55 by 5. So you have to do one thing at one time. So you can do one thing, and then after that 5 days, you can move straight on to another thing, but you have to do only one thing at one time, if that makes sense. It's really powerful.
So, Beck, you've got a Juice Plus manifesting group, don't you?
Yes, I do. And the people that have been in it and participating have really got some, it's been very cool.
So does anyone here on this call want to be in that group? Because, okay, so there's some hands going up. And how would they do that, Beck?
It's just called Manifesting JP. You can just invite, because unless I'm friends with you, I can't add you. But I can put the link in Mesh, and then you can just share it with your team members.
Amazing. Okay, so that'll go into Mesh tonight, or cool.
Yes.
Sensational. Any other questions? You're not in Mesh. Okay, so maybe we just message Lee.
Yeah, just reach out to me, Lee, because I need to be friends with you, and then I can add you. And then if you don't want to stay friends with me, you can unfriend me. I won't be offended, or you can stay friends with me. Either way works.
It's so fun in Mesh. That's where all the fun happens. So, amazing. So, Beck, if you had a billboard and the entire world could see it, what would your message to the world?
I think it would be surrender, because that was the one thing that I really had to learn to do, was just surrender to the process. Surrender, just do all of the things and just trust that the universe has got your back, because when you do that, you realize the universe really does have your back. So yes, surrender would be just surrender to the process. Just do what you have to do and just believe and have faith.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And guys, remember, this is going to be on the YouTube. This is going to be in Independent Hustle Training. It's going to be in Mesh. Share it out to people that need to see it. Let's help Beck get more people into her world, and let's help everyone manifest an amazing life. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks so much. Bye.